watching Fox 66 News, first at 10.
A woman's body is found inside her Erie home. Investigators calling the death a homicide. Good evening. Erie police have one of two suspects in custody in connection with a Tuesday night homicide in the city. Jordan Guerin has our top story tonight at 10.
Erie police were sent to a home at 241 East 27th Street in the city of Erie Tuesday evening around 11:45 for a suspected homicide.
The responding units were met by family members. Inside the residence, they located the body of a 58-year-old woman.
The Erie County Coroner's Office performed an autopsy Wednesday and identified the victim as Sherry Lyons, ruling the case a homicide. According to Coroner Lyle Cook, the official cause of death is still pending upon further investigation.
The preliminary investigation, the at-scene investigation, made it obviously a homicide.
First responders found Lyons dead inside of the basement of her home, and it is still an active crime scene at the house here as they continue to search for a second suspect.
There is a second suspect who is not in custody that we will be focusing on moving forward.
Erie police already have a young woman in custody that they are calling a suspect in this case. No further information has been released on the circumstance of Lyons' death, and this is the fourth homicide in the city of Erie this year. Jordan Guerin, Fox 66 News.
The Humane Society removes 11 animals from a home in Wesleyville. Officials saying they were living in deplorable conditions. Jess Dowdrick was at the home and has much more.
The Humane Society showed up to this house for the second time on the 2700 block of Shannon Road in Wesleyville, where they say that this is a severe case of animal hoarding.
If we have to wear these suits, it's pretty bad.
7 dogs, 3 cats, and a bird were rescued Wednesday. The Humane Society was at the same home just a month ago, removing another 17 animals. And in September of 2012, 12 animals were rescued. That's 40 animals in less than 3 years.
It's habitual in animal hoarders. Animal hoarders are very high rate of recidivism, going back to what they did before.
Officials called the inside of the home atrocious, describing feces and urine on every flat surface.
It's disturbing, I won't lie, but that's why we're here. We're here to help these guys.
The animals are now at Northeast Animal Hospital, where they are awaiting test results. Officials say some of the animals were losing their hair and that they may have internal parasites, but they won't know for sure until those results are in. The owner has signed over all 11 animals to the Humane Society, so once they are nursed back to health, they will be adopted out into better homes.
The owners have been kind enough to understand where we're coming from and that we're doing our job and making sure we're providing the best quality of life for these animals.
Humane Society officials say that unfortunately it's very difficult to stop these repeated hoarding cases, that these hoarders will pick the animals up off the street as strays or get them from the internet, that all they can do is continue to check on these homes. Reporting in Wesleyville, I'm Jess Dowdrick, Fox 66 News.
Let's turn to weather now. We had plenty of sunshine today. Can it last? Meteorologist Tom Atkins here now with your Fox First forecast. Tom?
Well, not for long, unfortunately, Sean. In this kind of weather pattern we've had, it gets wet fairly regularly, but for now we're going to stay dry tonight. You can see Storm Tracker there, no problems with precipitation. You can see your temperatures here comfortably cool in the low to mid 60s, and those temperatures, fairly similar to what they were 24 hours ago. So we can safely say with dew points in the 40s and 50s, it's going to be another good sleeping weather night, similar to last night. Temperatures in the 50s for lows, and then going back up as we go into tomorrow. Unfortunately, some rain will be coming back down in many areas. We'll talk more about that, your weekend, and much more later in the show. Sean?
All right, thank you, Tom. A popular eatery catches fire tonight. It happened just east of Conneaut Lake around 8:15 this evening. The restaurant, Miller's Food Factory, the building engulfed in smoke as firefighters worked the scene. Conneaut Lake Fire Department on scene. The restaurant is located at the intersection of Old State and Conneaut Lake Roads. No word on the cause of the fire at this time. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's search for a missing boater ended early today. 52-year-old Philip Gibbs was reported missing Sunday night. Scuba divers recovering his body just after 6 o'clock this morning. The Chautauqua County coroner ruled the cause of death to be accidental. The dive teams had been searching since Monday morning. A fallen soldier is brought home from Pittsburgh tonight. It's new at 10 o'clock. Alex Peterson joining us now live in the studio with much more on an emotional motorcade. Alex?
Good evening, Sean. Friends, family, and even strangers stretch from Erie to Pittsburgh tonight, remembering the life of the fallen soldier Kyle Swain. Tonight, all of his body returning here home to Erie. 25-year-old Kyle Swain died last Thursday during basic training at Fort Campbell in Kentucky. His death believed to be heat-related. Tonight, though, veterans, patriots, bikers, emergency personnel, and everyday community members lined overpasses, streets, and roadways, waving flags and cheering as the motorcade made its way back from Pittsburgh. Everyone we spoke with tonight choked up, deeply saddened, confused, asking why such a young, passionate life was taken so soon. Hundreds gathered at the Schmidt funeral home in Bell Valley tonight as Swain's motorcade arrived around 9 o'clock. Hundreds of bikes, fire trucks, and flag-waving vehicles everywhere you turned. Swain's life and service in the military and as a firefighter on the minds of everyone this evening.
Pouring out of people today shows exactly the kind of person that Kyle is and always will be with us. He was that loved. We all love Kyle and his family, and just to show that kind of support is phenomenal.
Now, as we were there tonight, we were told fire trucks and people were on every overpass on 79 North as the procession traveled to Erie from Pittsburgh Airport. Friends and the public can pay their respects tomorrow at the Schmidt Funeral Home in Bell Valley from 2 to 4, and then again from 6 to 9 tomorrow night, with a viewing on Friday at 10 a.m. Sean?
An emotional evening. Thank you, Alex. The Erie School Board passes a final budget for next school year, despite not knowing what they'll be getting from Harrisburg. The board unanimously passed the balanced $154.6 million budget tonight. The spending plan still includes no tax increase, no program cuts, and no layoffs. What the school district doesn't know, though, is how much funding will be provided by the Commonwealth once the new state budget is passed. The board has 90 days to reopen the budget if the state money is not as much as they expect. General Electric's union workers are mulling over a new contract offer that will come to a vote of their nationwide membership next week. Figures released by the United Electrical Workers disclose the 4-year pact carries with it 4 lump sum payments totaling $8,000 per worker. Hourly pay raises in the offer add an additional $1.40 an hour over the next 4 years covered by the agreement. Language in the new contract addresses union concerns about job security, but health care will be costing more per worker beginning in 2017. For the final 3 years, employee contributions will go up $10 per week each year. Local workers will vote June 30th. It looks like there will only be one bidder for the Erie Otters now that a big deadline has passed. It's continuing coverage tonight on Fox 66. Bids for the bankruptcy sale of the Erie Otters in federal court were due today by 4 p.m. According to the Otters attorney, Nick Pagliari, the sole bidder for the team is Toronto-based group JAW Hockey Enterprises, led by former broadcaster James Waters. Their bid is $7.225 million. A local group, led by businessman Owen McCormick, also considered bidding, but in the end did not. By rule, their offer would have had to be at least $400,000 more, or $7.625 million.
It was of utmost importance to keep the team here in Erie, and with the Waters Group making a strong commitment to keep the team in Erie, it took a lot of the pressure off to go to a number that maybe didn't warrant us going to.
Federal Judge Thomas Agresti has stamped a July 10th date for the sale of the team. JAW Hockey Enterprises needs approval from the OHL and the court. PennDOT discusses the study of the Bayfront Parkway corridor tonight. Officials talking about a study at a public meeting this evening at the Bayfront Convention Center. The proposed study will stretch the length of the parkway from West 12th to East 12th Streets. PennDOT will look at congestion, safety, and operational concerns during the study. Officials say it's important to have public input here.
We want to know what they believe exists in terms of deficiencies and how best to manage some of the growth that's being experienced, including the GAF site being developed and the potential development of Scott Enterprise property as well. And we'd like to proactively start planning and programming projects.
The public outreach plan for the study was initiated last August. One local Catholic church is closing its doors at the end of next month. According to the Erie Catholic Diocese, St. Mary of the Immaculate Conception on East 9th Street will close July 26th. Members of the parish will be merging with St. Stanislaus on East 13th. Bishop Lawrence Persico saying the decision to shut down is the only way to move ahead. It's based on finances and decreasing attendance.
As we looked at things, it was clear, based upon the information, that it would not be able to sustain itself.
Bishop Persico says as far as future use for the St. Mary's building, the diocese is still figuring out how to best utilize it. Senator Pat Toomey was honored last night by Sandy Hook Promise. It's a group of parents and survivors of the Sandy Hook tragedy in 2012. The senator said he still supports the Second Amendment and said law-abiding citizens should be allowed to buy guns. However, Toomey restated what he says is his continuing support of a requirement of point-of-purchase instantaneous background checks for all firearm sales.
Requiring the background check when someone makes a purchase of a firearm from a commercial vendor. So whether that's at a gun show or a dealer or over the internet, I would like to see that require the instantaneous background check that is in place, and the system that already applies, for instance, to all handgun purchases in Pennsylvania, regardless of who's doing the buying and who's doing the selling.
Toomey honored during an event last night in Philadelphia. The CRIZ program may be one step closer to being reality for the city of Erie as a June 30th deadline for the state budget draws near. The City Revitalization and Improvement Zone, known as CRIZ, is now being weighed by the General Assembly. State Senator Sean Wiley introduced Senate Bill 382 back in February. It would expand the program to include 15 municipalities this year instead of just 2.
And anytime we can offer that incentive and create jobs and create different opportunities for growth throughout the Commonwealth, we have to take advantage of that, and this is an opportunity to do that.
The city of Erie's designated CRIZ zone would be the Bayfront area. Senator Wiley says he's optimistic the budget talks will go in favor of his bill. Coming up on Fox 66 News, the man convicted in the Boston Marathon bombings is formally sentenced to death.
Our Pay It Forward truck stopped at the Victorian Princess this morning. Willie Ash was the first one. Find out how he spent his $300 on the Pay It Forward.
Plus, the stars of a wildly popular dance competition make a stop in downtown Erie tonight.